Welcome to the Coffee and Questions podcast. I am your host, Berman Mikel, and my mission with this podcast is simple: to help realtors and loan officers across the world tap into the value Instagram can have for them and their business. To me, organic business that comes to us is the name of the game. On this show, you're going to hear from myself, other experts across social media, and also others that are just like you, selling real estate and doing loans and doing it at a high level on social media.
Yeah, and I think there's so much advantage to connecting with other real estate agents, especially that are doing the same investor thing as you, and being able to leverage each other to grow your own business and build your brand in that world. Sometimes you can build your brand by association. So if you are connected and have a network with other real estate agents that are doing investments, and you want to work with investor clients, you can help leverage by being connected and by being in the same circles as them, and you can learn as well and grow your own business, and we can all glean from each other. So I think there's a lot of thoughtfulness that should go into if you're a real estate agent wanting to work with investor, or an investor looking for real estate agents. There's a lot of thoughtfulness in the research, listening, what hashtags you follow, like who you're paying attention to, what circles you're trying to get into. That is the start of the process, which is what I was thinking about when Nick was talking. Like, the start of the process that I think a lot of people miss out on is some people go straight to posting, which I've definitely, been an advocate for, of more content and post content, but there's probably not enough listening, following, engaging beforehand. A lot of searching, researching, and looking and seeing what are other investor real estate agents doing, what are investors looking for, what hashtags are they following, like where, what are the behavior patterns within the platform, specifically to Instagram.
Well, and I love that. And the entire premise of my course, right, of the Instagram Power Method, is the psychology behind attracting your ideal client, and client attraction being based off of exactly what you just said, which is behavior. So one of the homework assignments I actually put people through in the second module of my course is the pros and cons competitor influence homework, right? And it's a 3-page download. They got to print it out. And what I tell them to do is write down 10 accounts that they either like or hate. And I actually want them to find some that they hate. And I want them to write the pros and cons down about those accounts. And the reason for this is, in my opinion, how do you know what you want your content to even look like if you don't know what's even out there, right? So if you don't even know what other people are doing, how can you determine what you want your own platform to be presented as or to look like? And I think I can tell you, most people choose to skip the pros and cons homework. They think that it's a waste of time in their own minds, right? They're like, I don't need to do that. I'm just going to get to how do I post better, or how do I do this better? So they skip over what you just said. I think is the most important solution or the most important part of the solution to creating content that actually converts. And it's, what are other people in my market doing? What do I like? What don't I like? And if there's accounts that you see where you really hate something, then write it down, because you don't even understand why you don't like it until you dissect it. And then your content, when you start to put it out, hopefully, if you've done it effectively, is way better. And it's way more in line with how you want people to perceive you, right? So, I mean, that's my take on the studying part. So I'm totally with you, Chris. I just think it's a wasted, or it's a wasteland, right? People think Instagram is a wasteland or like a dumping ground of, here's all my listings, here's my Lamborghini, and here's how much money I made. And that's not what it should be, like, at all.
Well, playing right into what you said, let's all acknowledge one thing here that Facebook, Instagram do very well. That algorithm is really smart. And so what I would say to that is even going down your pros and cons and your hate list of accounts you hate and the ones you like. Also, what accounts are you engaging with? Because that algorithm is going to put in your feed what stuff. So are you engaging with investors? Are you commenting on their posts? Are you reaching out to them? It isn't enough just to follow them anymore, I think, because you want that algorithm trick that it's putting in your feed what you want to see as an investor. So, I mean, I think that's one of the big powers of Instagram, big powers of Facebook, is that it does know us. It does know what we're looking for based on how we engage and use the platform.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys look at your explore page, it'll tell you, like, any one of us listening, right? If we look at our explore page, it'll show you exactly what we engage with the most regularly, like just point blank. It's going to be a whole dump ground of more accounts that are similar to other things that we have just looked at. So I think that that's so important, and maybe we can go down this route as far as engagement, because my biggest pet peeve as a coach and somebody who's been doing this for 8 years now is I have the same conversation with every person. Well, I don't know why I'm not getting any engagement. I don't know why I'm not getting any business off my account. And my number one question to them is, are you engaging yourself? You want to get engagement, but are you doing it yourself? So, Chris, you have mentioned something earlier, specific hashtags. And then Nick, you were mentioning like, who are you engaging with? So I have a homework assignment that I usually give people that's 45 comments and 20 story replies per day based off of a category that they assign each day. So Chris, we'll start with you. I know that you're pretty Instagram savvy, right? And you spend a lot of time building content there. What's your engagement strategy look like every day, and who are you engaging with the most?
So for me, like I said, it's probably not investor based first off. So, most of my engagement is with kind of like other real estate agents in the area, because most of my content's around recruiting and business building for a very small group of agents in our immediate Myrtle Beach area for my particular like Instagram account. Now we manage some other, I'm hands-on with other company accounts as well, which have different strategy deployments. But for me,
I was just going to say, to not stress you out, we actually have a ton of people in our program and in our network of people who are building teams. So super relevant and super pertinent to what you're talking about. So I don't want you to think I'm not an investor, or I'm not quote unquote known for that. So keep going.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, so most of my content's around that. And I think two very important things that I've been guilty of and try to get better at as well is, and I think, is it Phil Treadwell mentions this too, somebody we just talked to, about just simple engagement with people that comment. Like if somebody takes the time to comment on your story, I don't know, Gary Vee does as well, but like takes the time to comment on something you put out there, like actually replying. Yeah. And actually commenting back and engaging, and, more than just like a thumbs up or like actually have a conversation. That's something that I know in the past I've been guilty of. And, that has its own rabbit trail of issues that you're portraying to the person that's commenting or your audience if you're not actually trying to engage in conversation. But then secondly, for me, from an engagement standpoint, not only on your own content, but yeah, I'm specifically seeking out, agents that I'm trying to be thoughtful. Like if they're putting an effort into content, I like to try and engage on their posts and talk to them, build them up, which is only going to benefit obviously from an algorithm standpoint, like them and what they're doing. But it also is just simply, I have a circle of people that I want to be top of mind with. And if I want my content in front of them and I want to, make them feel like I'm seeing them, like I'm recognizing their brand and what they're trying to do to start building that rapport and relationship, then that's all going to, work together with how much I engage with their content that they put out.
But the cool thing that you just said is you have a niche of people that you want to work with, right? You specifically are looking for people who are intentional. I love that word. And I know our mutual friend, Phil Treadwell, would love me for saying the word intentional. That's one of his favorite words. But you are intentional with who you actually engage with, because it's a specific niche market of the type of agent that you want to work with, or that you want to potentially come work with you. So you just hit spot on what the whole purpose of all of this is, right? We don't need to engage just to engage. We need to do it with intention, because if we do, here's like the thing that I think is so important. Engagement will drift off, right? People will just stop doing it if they feel like all they do every morning is look at their phone and scroll aimlessly without a plan. But if you have a plan of exactly where I'm going to go engage today, because maybe Mondays you assign it to, I'm going to go engage on other realtors pages. Maybe Tuesday you're going to go specific to, I'm going to engage on investors, right? Or people who potentially have properties for flipping, or that might need flipped. And then category C is whatever you want it to be. Maybe it's something more personal. But the idea behind that is that if you wake up every day and Monday I'm engaging in this category, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, all of a sudden I have to do 45 comments or 60 or 45 to 60 comments and 20 story replies doesn't really seem that hard, or at least it shouldn't. And it should take a lot less time because you're not aimlessly just scrolling. If you enjoyed this episode, please go follow my guests on social media. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please consider leaving us a review wherever you consume this content.